Hello and welcome back to Rally Race Guys. It's been around 2 months since 3 months since we posted our last update on YouTube. We've been fairly active on our other social medias like Instagram, Facebook and what have you. Just saying what we've been doing, what we like, and the updates that we've given small snippets towards up until this video right here. So in conjunction with this video, a Instagram post will come out with pictures of our progress throughout the time of finishing and modifying the workshop. So the workshop has undergone a lot of transformation, which you probably see behind me. Pat is now out, and we did a little bit of work on it last week. But the majority of the work actually focused on about all the stuff behind the camera, which, I don't know if you remember, a couple of episodes ago, which was our paint room build. We have now finished that. Because we didn't get much feedback, we didn't get much feedback or views, we didn't continue that video series. We thought we may as well get it out of the way, get it done and get it finished. So now we've got it finished, we've got the main frame up, we've got the outside clad, inside clad with insulation in between it, all the wiring done, and we've painted the whole thing. We're in the midst of just painting the floor now so we can lay some carpet. So I personally want to lay some carpet so the dust stays down, but other people like Ryan and other people who have been involved think that we should just keep it as a concrete floor and just keep it painted because that's easier to sweep up. So we're yet to decide, but we've already got the carpet. We've got some second-hand carpet from the local carpet fitters, which we're just throwing it away. Today on this episode we will be exploring the new workshop. I say new, it's a revamped workshop. And our plans throughout the next couple of months. So we've given ourselves, myself and Ryan have given both of ourselves a good deadline in around mid next year to finish both our cars, not completely, but to a stand where we can physically drive them and have some fun with them together. Mine should hopefully be stage ready by late September next year, which that includes all the safety gear and what have you, which we'll go into further down the line. But further ado, I will show you the new workshop.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
So, after that little montage of the workshop, as you can see, we've done a hell of a lot of work, and it has taken a good 2-3 months to get it to this point. It's still not 100% finished, but what workshop is. So at the moment we're just going to leave it as is, and when we need to we'll move it. So from now we'll be getting on with the car. So as I said earlier, we're going to be cracking on with the car really quickly. So the first things first is get back on with the welding. So I'm borrowing a welder off my mate. I finally got one, and hopefully I can have it for a couple of weeks. So I know exactly what I need to weld, what plates, where I need to stitch weld, and how. I've recently enrolled myself onto the local college course on welding, so we can improve on the welding that I've already done. So I've ground everything back that I can get to. I've taken out the central seat, standard seat cross rail that was in there, because I've changed my mind about that and bought another set of seat rails from RB Motorsport, which have now changed their name, which I'll pop in the description. Thank you to Rob, different Rob. Got a cup of tea in hand, but I've just come back from work, and now and I popped to Halfords to get a Halford special and to get out absolutely ripped off for some bits, because I was impatient and didn't want to go to eBay or Amazon or anything, even though I've got Prime. I got some new wire wheels, so I've got a wire cut brush, another but it's a twist knot wire cut brush, and a normal wire twist knot wire drill, or wire wheel, sorry, all to go on the grinder, because the one that we're using at the moment hasn't got much life left in it. I'm going to still use it, but I know it has had a hard life, and it has taken a lot of under seal and seam sealer out of Pat behind me, and it's done a great job, but it's nearing the end, and I think we're going to have to mourn it to death once it goes, because we've been through that is the only one we've been through, so I think that's pretty good going for the amount we've used it. But it's still got life in it yet, but it keeps on shedding its wire, and the last time I was using it, it decided to shed all the wire toward my face. So I have now bought, I have now got a face mask for when I'm grinding, which, yeah, it wasn't comfortable when you get these wires coming towards you at several thousand RPM, and it does hurt because they stick in your face. I did have glasses on, but it's just not comfortable. So I bought it. It was $6.99. I'd rather be safe than lose an eye. So I've spoken to my mate Andrew, who I went to the Isle of Man with. If you want to see those videos, they are in the Isle of Man playlist. But he has done many rally shells and currently rallies with the 205, as you've seen, other than he smashed it up last week, or earlier on in the year, a couple of months back. So he's given me some pointers on how, where I need to stitch weld or seam weld to get the most strength out of the chassis. So I've done most of the areas that he pointed out, but some of the areas I didn't even know existed, and he's drew them on for me on a picture that I sent him, so I know exactly where I'm going for now, and that's what these are for, and that's why I needed to pick them up today. I should be getting the welder next week, so that's why there was a mad rush to get these, even though I paid 20 odd quid for them. Even with the trade card. So yeah, so we're nearly at the point of it being internally stitch welded, but it will be a long time yet, or hopefully it'll be a couple of weeks, and then the inside will be done. Then it will be on underneath and plating all the stuff I've already just plated, and then paint it all inside, do the cage work, do the flop the dash, which I'm still planning on doing, put my hydraulic handbrake in, and modifying the pedal box, which I'm not going to do. There's a guy on the 205 forums, if you want to find, he's there. He modifies them for about £150, so it's not worth me getting the grinder out for that much, because I give him my pedal box and everything assembled. He with two masters, which I'm going to go for Wilwood masters, which I think I'm going to go for 0.025 inch master for the rear, I think, and 0.07 for the front, and hydraulic handbrake. In conjunction with this, we'll be running Peugeot 206 GTI 180 brakes with 180 carriers and normal GTI calipers, which are 2 litre GTI calipers, which when I've bought that setup, it'll be around £100. So for the new brake setup, in total, let me just do a quick calculation, it's going to be around £300. £300 for a biased setup, with a hydraulic handbrake, 3 masters, and bigger brakes. That's not including discs and pads, because there'll be an extra thing when I want to drive the car. But I'll have the selection whether to run 14s or 15s. Mostly I'm going to run 14s due to the price of the tyres, and also 15s I've got to go 175, 40 or 45, or lower profile 15s for 15, because they're too wide, and you find that very, very quickly when you put 195s on this. They catch a lot, which my friend Alex, who's got the 205, if you go and check his car on our Instagram page, we posted about it. He just did a turbo diesel swap from a 1.8 to a 1.9, which is it's quite a rapid car now. That will be his daily. But he found that out very, very quickly. I did warn him that they would rub. He bought them anyway. Then they were on nice wheels. He got a good deal. But unfortunately, he's now selling the wheels and tyres to buy another set of 15s. But then he's gonna of something like compromotive or whatever. I don't know what he's got in mind. But he needs to sell those. So if you want any, give us a message and we'll set you up. But without modification, without a 309 309 GTI rear beam, you're going to rub a lot on the rear, just because pure size of, or lack of space, of what you actually have. Now we'll get on with marking out where we need to wire wheel, so I don't forget, and getting the grinder out so I can get all this seam sealer out as much as possible and get it prepped for next week. But yeah, so I'll be back in a bit with an update. Where the arrows are along this joint here, that's where you need to seam weld. Also down here, along this joint down here, all the way around the boot, same along here, around there, all the way down there, around there, around the foot of where the cage will be, same over there, all the way down, where this panel meets the floor, which is the join, which I'll show you now, all the way along here, and all along this seam, all the way across there, because that is where most of the vibration and bending will happen. On any car, that's the most influential part. So if you don't do any other than this, that's what I recommend. So because this is part of the chassis leg, part of the rest of the chassis and everything else, but we'll be doing more underneath and more in the engine bay to complete it. As you see, I've flatted back all the welds that we've done previously, which they're not the best, but I may be able to go over them with the better welder and see what we can do. There is evidence of I need to go. So my plan is, with these, where I've done every inch by inch, I've flatted back. In between the inches by inches, I'm going to go again. Same along here, along that seam there. I'll do the same over here and over here. I know it's in the darkness, but also we've got those plates to plate it as well, don't we? Also, when we, so a couple of days ago, I was on Spooks' website, which, if you don't know, is one of the Peugeot tuners, and I found all the strengthening parts and blanking parts for the chassis. So one of them, key being, as I spoke about earlier, getting the pedal box, taking out the servo, and we're just going direct to masters. We're going to put a lot of pressure through that bulkhead, and to strengthen it, we've got this 4mm thick plate, steel, that is perfect for the job, which they make. So that was £12. It's not worth me making that for £12 because it's right. I don't need to fettle it. All I need to do is weld it in. The blanking plates. Do you remember these? So I've got a set of these with the little ones as well. So I'm going to take the little ones out. I have actually cut out the big one that I welded in previously, but it took a lot to get out, and I've taken a chunk of the floor with it, so we may have to plate that up. Also, within the engine bay, these are where the brake lines normally run through, which we're actually going to blank up, and also the top engine mount strengthening plate as well. But I'm unsure if this will fit, as it said it was for all Peugeot 205s, but this is a phase 2, so I don't know if this will actually fit, and I can't actually see if where it will fit. So we will see. I might end up just selling that. It was only £4.50, I believe, from Spooks, but they were the pickups that I've had now, and that's the areas I'm going to focus on now with the grinder. So on with getting the grinder out. So there you go. This is roughly the size it was at, and that's the size it is now. So it's had a hard life when we bought it originally, but right. It's off, and the new one on.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick. All the boys stare, can't help it, it's a habit. Clothes that she wears, short skirt and a jacket. I just wanna get her all alone on a mattress. I just wanna have it, I just gotta have it. Rumors all around say her body is fantastic. All natural, not a piece of fur is plastic. Head to her toes, yeah, they say that she's a latch. Yeah, the whispers all around say she has a reputation. Don't believe it till I see it, so I want a demonstration. And I've always learned it better with a hands-on education. So I need a private session if you get what I am saying. And they say that she's not easy, no, she's really complicated, but that only makes it better, and it's got me so fixated. And I'm not the type to wait.
Now finishing prepare all these. So this one goes there, this one goes there, and this one goes there. So these will be tack welded on in due course, hopefully next week. And we've got a little bit of modification to do with this one. Actually, I think I'll tack it on first, and then do the modifications that we need. But I think we need to get the hammer out just to shape it to the desired shape. This one will be tacked into place here, here, and down here, then hammered into place like the other one, and we will go from there. But yeah, so we will. I'll go to the hammer. So I'm back with the hammer now. You probably can't tell, but it just sticks up in this corner. Forcefully shape it. So it's now got a little bit of a kink in it, as you can see. That is literally just to follow this, just to follow the shape of the body. It will be fettled down even more when we come to weld it. But that is a panel ready to weld it in, and the same as these. So, when this used to be a road rally car, it required seats. Now it's a stage rally car, it doesn't require them. And actually, it's more advantageous to take them out than keep them in, because it keeps the weight down and also gives you better access to the places you need for service and what have you, if you need to do it fast. So I've already taken these mounts out either side, which hold the actual seat in place and the parcel shelf. So the only thing left in the car, other than there was bracket down here, there's two either side on the inner wheel well. So I'm going to cut these off and then flat them back with a flat disc or a linishing disc, just so it just looks cleaner, and also it there is a potential always to catch yourself on these or what have you. So I want to try and reduce as much as I can where I can, reduce injury where I can. And even though there's only two of them each side, there's a potential always to catch yourself with them, so they've got to go. So out with the grinder again. As I've taken the grinder to nearly everything, there's one last piece to, or two last pieces to come out, which these accept into. This is part of the spokes order. Let me just get one out. These are the blanking plates for the floor, which we have got 2 banking plates. Okay, we've got 10 of these, which we will only use 2 for. We'll only use 8 because the other 2 are for the rear beam, which I'm going to keep as is because I want access. So yep, but I'll show you where these go in a minute. So these go, one goes here, okay, on focus, one goes here, and 3 go here, just like over there, and the other one goes there, so they're the 8. So I could put 2, one over here and one over here, but I want access to those bolts just in case I have to remove the rear beam in haste. So we're going to clean up all those areas. So that pad has come off over there. I need to take that pad off there and knock the other 2 bungs out and try and linish them back so we can weld. Yeah, my hair's probably flat. So yeah, we've taken, well, I think I've got every piece I want to get with the welder. So I've taken either the flap disc or any of the new wire wheels for the grinder to the chassis or internally, except that bottom half because I've got to pull out the I'm going to pull out the pedal box just so we've got more room. But yeah, so I think I've done as much as I can for the moment because I've taken out, right, I'll show you in a minute, I'll show you now. So now I've ground all the way across here. Those holes as well I want to get rid of, all down there, all across here, all down there as well, all down here. All the way down there. I made a massive mess getting that pad off that was there, which is all the black stuff you see there. So I've cleaned up each of those holes and the holes over there as well. So, and all of that butt there. So I think it's very, very, very nearly ready to be welded. I think the only thing to do is now hoover up all the filings, all the grit, all the black stuff, and give it a wipe down, and we will be ready for welding, I think. So in the end I used all three new R wheels, but they did well for what we intended them to do. So they were definitely a good purchase, even though I paid through the nose for them, but we're well on the way to finishing this. So I'm going to put together a quick little montage and then close this video out. But I hope you've liked the new. I hope you like the new audio, because we've got a new Rode Video Go mic. So that's what you'll see in the shadows and what have you if you see something on the camera. Hopefully we're getting a new wide angle lens soon, but we can't promise everything because all our bloody money's going into this and that other car. Okay, so now I've cleaned everything up, it's looking a lot better. So we know exactly where we've got to where we've got to stitch weld, and where we've got to fill all the holes, and where we've got to plate up. So I'll show you that now.